Okay, let's see. Let's review really quickly. Re-review those bullet points to yourself, please. Okay, so looking at what we've got here on number 3, okay, we're going to pretend that Mrs. Ballard didn't type that. Equal sign or no equal sign? No equal sign. It's not an equation, it's an expression, right? So there's no equal sign on that. So we are going to we're going to follow the instructions for no equal sign, okay? Was it add, subtract, multiply, divide? It's add or subtract. So we have to find the least common denominator, multiply each term by what is missing from the LCD. Okay. So I need to find the least common denominator. What am I going to have to do, though, before I find the least common denominator? What were we doing way up here? Yeah, we got a factor, don't we? We're going to have to do a GCF, right? So it might not be a GCF. It could be a magic X. It could be something else. But in this case, it happened to be a GCF. We got a factor. So I'm taking out that X. What's left behind? Good. And then do we remember circle in red and underline in blue? So you circle what matches in red. How many times am I allowed to write that down? Once. Good. And then in blue, we write everything else, right? We underline in blue, write everything else. So it's just an X. Okay. Now I'm going to compare my denominators to my least common denominator. So I'm comparing this one to my least common denominator. Is there anything missing? No. Good. So we're going to take this and just write it down the way it looks. So 4x plus 3. Now I'm comparing this one to my least common denominator. Is there anything missing? The x. So that means I'm multiplying by x. Technically, I'm multiplying by x over x, but we already wrote the denominator. Okay. So what's 1 times x? Good, x. All right. So what is 4x plus x? 5x plus 3 over x times x minus 4. And that's it. All right. Let's take a look at number 4. Is there an equal sign? Definitely an equal sign, right? There's 2 sides. That is an equation. So we're going to go to there is an equal sign because we have an equation. Okay. We're going to follow these instructions. We're going to multiply everything by the LCD first. And then we're going to use our quadratics or polynomials to solve. Okay. So I got to create my LCD. So that's what I'm going to do first. Let's create that. What would I circle that matches? Look at the denominators only. The x, right? So how many times do I get to write that? Once. And then I'd underline everything else in blue so I get both 6 and 5. So technically my LCD is what? What's 6 times 5, everybody? 30x. Good. Okay, I'm going to rewrite this really quick so I can have a little bit more space for it. Okay, I am now going to multiply everything by 30x. So multiplying by 30x. Okay, we're going to cancel. So in this first term, what cancels? The x, good. And then 6 goes into 30 how many times? 5. So all I have left is a 5. All right, what cancels in the second term? X, okay, and then 5 goes into 30 how many times? Good. What's 1 times 30? Or 1 times 30x, sorry. 30x, good. And woohoo, the fractions are gone. We don't like working with fractions if we don't have to, right? Okay, now it's like an algebra 1 problem, maybe even a before algebra 1 problem. So what's 5 plus 6? 11 equals 30x, so x equals what? Fractions are good. 11 over 30, good. Give you a minute to catch up. Okay. While you're catching up, I'm going to rewrite this so I can scribble on it a little bit better. Okay. We might not use the one in number 4 so much in calculus, but we use this number 5 one actually quite a bit the further we get in, actually. So is there an equal sign on number 5? Yes. Technically, what's the denominator here underneath the 0? 1. So isn't this the least common denominator? It's got to be, right? There's nothing else. So that has to be our least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the least common denominator. I don't know why I put a parentheses. Plus 12. Okay. Over on the left side, what happens with the denominator and what we multiplied by? They cancel out. That was nice. Okay, so I've got 2x squared minus 4x. What's 0 times this mess? 0. You really don't need to do this. Couldn't I have just said, hey, I'm multiplying this to the other side times 0, it's going to go away. Okay, we see that concept a lot in in the algebra we have to do before the calculus. All right, I want you to finish it. You should be able to solve that from there. Everybody try it. Were you in your Google Classroom? Did you find it in the classroom? Okay, check it with your table partner. Have a discussion. All right, check my work. Did I do it right? Do we agree? All right, so what did I do in this line right here? What's that called? Greatest common factor. What's this line? What did I do there? Zero product property, and then we just solve it, right? Okay. Give you a minute if you need to write it down.